The weekly reading deals with what is well known, the story of the spies. That Moses sent 12 people to spy the land. But if we read the text, just by the text of this week, we will not find anywhere the word spy or the verb to spy. It's not there. And what we find that there is another verb that is being used, and that's the verb in Hebrew, latur. And if we go to search where this verb is being used, it is a well-known one that in the one of the portions of the Shema, it is says that you should not uh, uh, lo taturu after your heart and after your eyes. So it's not a spy. It's actually you should not go after your heart and you should not go after your eyes. So actually the verb being used for the mission that Moses sent them was to seek the land, to search the land. Okay? And there are two more points to show that it is not a spying mission. Number one, that we find out that who were the people that Moses sent. They were the chiefs of the people in each tribe. It is said that they were the most important people of the Israelites. So if you are going to send people to spy, you will not send the most important, let's say by the language of today, the most important politicians. You will send professionals to do the spying. And not only that one, if we check the instructions that Moses gave them, and it started with you should see the land, and the most important sentence in an open statement is the first sentence, and the main point was to see the land. And not only that one, if we go to the instructions, nowhere in the instructions the people were told to actually go behind what the eyes see. It's only to look at it from a little bit from a detached way. Look at what he told them. Look to see if they are strong, they are weak, if the land is good, okay, and if they are in fortified cities or not fortified cities, etc. So actually, by the instructions, we can see that they were not spying. They were only told to go and see the land. If we compare it to the mission that Joshua sent, oh, there it was really different way because the mission with Joshua is sent only two people. We don't know their names, none whatsoever. He just sent two people, and also he said he sent them undercover. And not only they went to see the land, but they entered the city of Jericho because they wanted to talk with the inhabitants to know what the people inside were talking about themselves and about the upcoming Israelites to come to the land. So the main point is nowhere, if we read just the text of this week, nowhere in this text we see any spying. And if that's the case, why do we call it spying? And the answer is that in Deuteronomy, when Moses is repeating the event to the people, and then it does mention the verb to spy. So we have a little bit in a way, we have a little bit of contradiction between what we see in the book Numbers and what we see in the book Deuteronomy. But there is only one point that explains this alleged contradiction, because each each event was done in different time. The main point is that the mission that Moses sent was right after they came out of Egypt. Because after that mission, they were told that they will be 40 years in the desert. And they were 40 years in the desert. So the point is that the first mission by Moses was to show the land to the chiefs of the tribes. Right. So hopefully they will see the land, and they will convince the people that yes, it is good for them to continue on the way to the land, right? But of course it didn't happen like that, because they came back with a negative report. But in Deuteronomy, the words that Moses is saying were told to a different generation, because these are the sermons, the speeches that Moses gave before he passed away. And at that time, he is reporting to the new generation what happened before, 40 years earlier. And then he didn't want this new generation to know that their parents or people before them were against coming to the land. So he presented it to them as what it was a spying mission. So there is a difference in time between the 2 points, and the agenda of each mission was different. So what we read this week was not a spying mission, was to convince the chiefs of the tribes. And that's why their names are mentioned. And they are mentioned not only, it says these are the names of the chiefs, and then it is repeating itself, and these were the names, whatever. It was very important to emphasize who were the people who went, while in Joshua, nothing. It's just 2 people going undercover, which is exactly what is a spying mission. So the main point is we need to realize the time each event is being described. The first one this week, it is before they started their way into 40 years in the desert, while in Deuteronomy, it is at the end of the 40 years where the generation that didn't want to come into the land perished in the desert. So now Moses is talking to a new generation, and he wouldn't like to come and tell them that the previous generation needed convincing persuasion to come into the land. So different agenda, different time, different people, and that's why we have different stories. So it is only spies in the perception of 40 years later, but they were not spies at the time they went into the land. Shabbat Shalom.